All right, Devin, I have a joke for you.
Yeah.
What do Muslim radicals,
Yeah.
far left liberal progressives, and women have in common?
What?
No matter what you try to do to please them, you'll never make them happy. You can never do enough.
Really? Women too?
Yes, yes. Good. Now that I've managed to piss off just about everybody, I think we can proceed with the show.
Our core audience.
The
women
Black
liberals.
Podcast, burning bridges everywhere. All right. The Epstein files have all been ordered to be released by legislative fiat.
Nice.
Almost unanimous in both houses.
Nice.
Devin is exuberant about it, I tell you. You know what? I've never seen you so excited.
Yeah.
Since that time you were in that movie, in the movie theater watching Rocky IV, and you yelled, "Take that, you Russian bitch!" at the end of Rocky IV.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, it's
you
great.
were pumped.
Yeah, I was.
Right,
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
these Epstein files, this was a big fake, I think, maybe by Trump.
You think so?
Well, think about it. He's a very smart guy, right?
Yeah.
Do you really think that he didn't look at all the Epstein files? He didn't tell his people to look at everything
Yeah.
and just say, hey, first of all, I know that there's nothing about me. I mean, there might be something about me, his feelings about me, but it won't put me there. But let me know. And I want to also know who else is in there.
Right.
And so he knows.
Yeah.
It's like he's not discovering as you and I are discovering it. So he knows. Maybe he pulled a Johnny Cochran,
Yeah.
right? Like with the glove.
Yeah.
And, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. And what Johnny Cochran did brilliantly, I don't think O.J. Simpson was an innocent man by any stretch, but it was a brilliant move. I have to give him that.
Yeah.
He basically faked the prosecution to force O.J. Simpson to wear the glove.
Yeah.
And saying, no, you cannot make him wear the glove. And then they filed a motion to make O.J. Simpson wear the glove. And then he tried it. Of course, it was too small. And then he was able to show it to the jury. Well,
Yeah.
clearly he didn't do it.
Right.
Or at least there's reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So maybe this is what Trump is doing. He's pulling a Johnny Cochran.
Or he did exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is he's asking for the very emails that at first he said, I don't want to show.
Right.
He's pretending he didn't want to see to reveal them. And then the Democrats force it.
Right. 100%.
What is he trying to hide,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then boom. You know what? It reminds me of my favorite kind of fire. You
Yeah.
know which kind?
What?
The back kind of fire. Yeah.
It was totally like, don't throw me
Yes.
in that briar patch. Like he just,
Don't, no,
don't
whatever
do
you
it,
do,
don't do it.
don't.
And then they got on their high horse, and
That's incredible.
it's going to be a lot of names. Yeah.
Well, we know now that Steve Bannon has been implicated, not from a sexual point of view, but he apparently he had Epstein's back and was trying to tell him that this is a psyop of some kind, even though Epstein, in fact, was doing this horrible stuff.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make Bannon look good, at the very least, we can say that.
Yeah.
There are rumors that Bill Clinton might have been on board with the Epstein train. Very strange.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, we don't know. The jury's still out, but I wouldn't be surprised. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Clinton was not a fan of keeping his pants zipped up.
Yeah.
Shall we say? Arctic Fire. You've heard about that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is apparently it was a targeted investigation of Republicans and Republican causes, conservative causes.
Yeah.
And you just know when Democrats were getting together to talk about this great bold plan of Arctic Fire,
Yeah.
that their meeting was something like this. Well, we better make sure we win the election because
Yeah.
if this comes out, bad things are going to happen.
Right.
We'll really all go to jail or something like that. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. The House Judiciary Committee reported that the FBI's Arctic Frost probe potentially targeted over 150 Republicans, including Senator Lindsey Graham, who announced he intends to sue over his records being obtained under that Arctic Frost campaign.
Wow.
The Senate provision giving senators a cause of action is under review and may be repealed. Let's see. Grassley and Johnson are pressing telecom companies like Verizon, AT&T, and so on, and tech firms, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, for full disclosure of what records were provided to the DOJ and the FBI, talking of the Biden DOJ and FBI, and whether lawmakers' communications were accessed. This is a huge event. Okay, this is absolutely staggering. This is the reason why we have a constitution. These guys were subpoenaed without the knowledge of Grassley and otherwise.
Yeah.
Completely violating their on a witch hunt.
Yeah.
At best, a fishing expedition is what we say. So clearly, there are constitutional concerns. The targeting of lawmakers and political organizations raises questions about how law enforcement interacts with legislative branch work, and in political speech, association is being chilled.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Or my question is for you: what fraction of Watergate is this?
That's right.
Yeah, like 1/5 Watergate, because Watergate's the worst thing ever. So this can't exceed Watergate. It's got to be a fraction.
Yeah, good point.
Like listening to Trump's campaign, but then now Arctic Frost listening to all the legislature.
Watergate was the scandal of all scandals.
The worst scandal ever.
We always say this makes Watergate look like whatever. So it's a first go-to scandal.
Yeah.
And I thought Teapot Dome scandal was awful. I mean, remember that?
I don't actually remember Teapot Dome.
Of course you don't. I don't even remember what it was.
Was that actually a thing?
Oh yeah. It was I think it was like in the 1912 time period.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Go AI it, folks.
When I was
Google
in college, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's right. That's how old you are. So it is obviously much worse than Watergate. This is terrible stuff. I mean, Watergate. It was Nixon's team spying on the Democrat headquarters, which of course Obama had done on the Trump headquarters.
Yeah.
But who wants to make that comparison?
Yeah. Who's going to make that movie?
No, it's not at all similar.
No.
And then Nixon lied about it.
Yeah.
And it was mostly about the tapes. I mean, he kind of buried himself by recording everything for one thing, but which would have been okay, but for the fact that he hid them from Congress.
Yeah.
And that was the big scandal. That's what, when we think of Watergate, that's actually what happened.
Right.
He just lied to Congress. That was it. And because the Democrats were in charge, it looked like he was going to be impeached and convicted. So he resigned.
Right.
So before that could ever happen. And then he was pardoned, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's a huge embarrassment, but that would not have happened had the Congress been at least half Republicans. Some Democrats would have gone with the Republicans. You get the idea.
Yeah.
But this is much, much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, you're actually spying on Americans without any subpoena. Okay, that's it. That's huge. Without notice to them, it's a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment. Yeah. It's also a violation of the separation of powers. If investigators can subpoena members of Congress or their associates or collect their metadata without notice or transparency, that may impair legislative oversight of the executive. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is also about precedent and checks. The outcome of this could set precedents for how future investigations into politically sensitive matters are handled, especially Congress. Political ramifications. The probe and the disclosure of its scope are feeding into partisan narratives, potentially influencing public trust in law enforcement and the political system. You think?
Yeah.
All right. So here's what's coming next. There'll be congressional hearings. Yeah. Oh, great. Expect more hearings and more hearings. Yeah. I'm sure great things will happen as a result of that.
Yeah. There's not going to be grandstanding.
No, not at all. Everyone's going to be they're going to be probing and probing.
Yeah.
Lawsuits will happen, hopefully, with Graham announcing his intent to sue. Let's see what happens there. This could force courts to weigh in on the constitutional issues. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's a huge issue. Now, that reminds me of yet again, the numerous lies. I think we're going to keep this as an ongoing thing. We'll add to it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Here are Democrat lies and manipulations.
Wait, did you just say Democrat?
Democrat.
What?
Yeah. So the origins of COVID.
Yeah.
The way COVID was used to thrust everyone to shudder. And the origins of COVID is being that they had to quash the lab leak theory. Even Deborah Birx, remember her?
Yeah.
From the
with her always the little.
CD?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She admitted that they wanted to squash that theory.
Yeah.
It had to be from a wet market. Remember that?
Yeah.
Job numbers manipulations. That was during more than a couple times during the Biden administration. That inflation was transitory. Remember that?
Yeah.
The Inflation Reduction Act, which only increased inflation and had nothing to do with inflation. Hiding Biden's obvious dementia. the auto pen, the Hunter Biden laptop, the existence of it, with 51 intelligence officers saying that it was all a big lie.
Right.
So the Russia collusion, fabrication, of course, that's huge. Hillary's emails and destroying all those.
Right.
Spying on Trump, we just talked about that. The January 6th pipe bomb, which looks like it may have been planted by a Capitol Policewoman.
Yeah.
We have yet to see that, but I will not be surprised.
Yeah.
The claim that there were 5 dead police officers from January 6th, a total lie.
No.
Remember the cocaine at the White House?
Yes. Yeah.
We don't know to whom how this possibly could have gone here. Yes, I know that their son is a cokehead, but it couldn't. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
That would just be profiling at this point.
Yes.
If we go for the coke addict.
Right.
Yeah.
It's on par with where is Jimmy Hoffa buried?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it's like.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, of course, now this Arctic fire, targeted investigations of Republicans, and the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Okay. This idea of, oh, well, this is not quite what it means. And of course, right away, the first thing they could do is we talked about this last week, where they pretended that Epstein writing something about Trump meant that Trump was implicated. They didn't say anything other than something like he was mentioned.
Yeah.
It didn't even hint that Trump knew that Epstein was doing anything. So,
right.
you know that had Trump actually engaged in anything nefarious, they would say emails show that Trump was doing terrible things with minors.
Completely,
of course, and that he was there, and that he knew about it, and he, not only that, but he worked with the woman that he was working with. What's her name? I forget her.
Ghislaine Maxwell, that one? Or?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Surely they would have added that into the mix.
Oh, yeah.
But no, they have to. They can't find anything, so they say he's implicated in the emails.
Yeah.
Or like he's involved in the. It didn't even use the word implicated. So, because they knew that Trump would sue them, and he would be right to sue them.
Yeah.
The actual emails end up saying something like, "I hate Trump. Trump is a bastard. I'll bring him down one way or the other." But it doesn't say Trump knew what I was doing.
Right.
It doesn't say that at all. It just says how he plans to bring him down.
Yeah.
Why? Because Epstein hated Trump.
Yeah.
Because Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, and he's just out to get him. It's just this. It's not uncommon to have a rift among billionaires.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised about this at all.
No.
Anyway, that's the Epstein files that we just talked about, and there's of course more to talk about. But that list will grow, my people.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll revisit this every month or so, because I guarantee you, every month, you know what we'll do? It'll be like the 12 Days of Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, my true love came to me.
Yeah.
Right? And they do the one thing, and then they keep on adding the list.
Epstein files.
Very good. Oh my God, what are you doing working with me? You should be a singer.
I gave up the opera. Just too much adulation.
Or did the opera give up on you?
Yeah, It is true. Yeah.
All right, good news about Mamdani, and you thought that I had only bad news about Mamdani. I think people are not understanding how positive this is.
Yeah.
Because once Mamdani is mayor, there's going to be a lot less traffic in Manhattan.
That's yes.
Right?
Yes.
Everyone's going to leave Manhattan. That means, and nobody wants to come into Manhattan.
Because they're going to be told and fined and stuff. Yeah.
It'll be people want to leave Manhattan because of business and taxes and everything. And the Muslimification of New York City, at least.
Yeah.
So they're all saying, I'm out of here. Whether it's realistic or not, and I think it is realistic. But whatever, they're saying, I don't want any part of this. It's already been tough enough as it is. And thank you, Mamdani. You were the straw on the feathers, whatever, the feather on the camel's back.
Yeah, feather on the camel's back.
Straw on the...
Something to do with a camel. We know that.
That's right.
It's definitely, the metaphor is Mamdani and a camel. Yeah.
That's right. Too much. It was just too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's going to be far less traffic.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And they may not even have the tolls anymore because it should be free.
That is true.
Because he's offering free bus services.
Yeah.
Plus, there'll be lower rents. Rents will go dramatically down because demand will be a lot less.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even have to deal with rent control.
No.
It's just going to go down by itself.
Yeah.
And he'll take credit for it, of course. Look at me.
Yeah.
I scared everyone away.
Lower end, bro.
And in fact, there'll be a lot less crime because there won't be anything to steal.
Yeah.
It's a win-win, people.
Yeah. A lot less possessions. Yeah. It's going to be, yeah.
And don't worry about any enforcement of rules because the police won't be there to enforce anything, but that's what you want. It'll be roving gangs.
Yeah.
But that's a form of law enforcement when you think about it.
Yeah. Community-based.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And probably a strongman will arise out of all that. And there will be order, damn it.
Yeah.
Structure will return at last. Just like the movie Escape from New York.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Or Warriors. Do you remember Warriors?
Yes.
Where everyone, like, you know, they had their little uniform. Every street gang had a very strong theme. You know,
Devin, I think you watch too much TV. Good news also, Sharia law.
Yes.
You may not like it, but it does get the job done.
There are actually a lot of, you know, like, yeah.
So I'm saying, think of the positive.
Yeah.
Okay. All you negative Nellies out there thinking that New York will, you know, get ruined completely, and it will, but you're not thinking of the positives because you probably will be able to see the Statue of Liberty, probably.
Yeah.
Once she wears a hijab, I think that'll be.
You'll see the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be a burqa probably.
Yeah.
And then I think they'll still allow people to go up the One World Center, the Trade Center, because I don't know why, but there won't be anybody there because they've all moved to Dallas and otherwise. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. I think the weather will be great all the time. Pollution will be nil because nobody's going to be driving around. I think JFK and LaGuardia will be very easy to get in and out of. That's good. Think of the positive.
Or how about traffic's going to be better because of all the liberal feminist protests? Either way, they're gone. Either
that's right.
They're involved on Sharia law, they're not going to be able to protest, or they just leave. They won't be protesting.
But nobody will be there to listen to their protests either.
Yeah.
So they'll be going to different cities, I suppose. So that's good too. Won't have all these crazy protests.
Yeah.
People, this could be a really good thing.
Always look on the bright side.
Thank you. All right. Mamdani also has a friend in Dearborn, Michigan.
Are they little friends?
They're friends. And here's the thing. You got to hear what he has to say about, what he feels about assimilation into the country. Yeah. And his voice should mean everything for you in his words. Check this out.
What you often hear that's accompanied with that is, well, you must assimilate. I shouldn't put out a magazine that's in 2 languages. Why can't you speak English? Why are my videos subtitled in Arabic? Why is my caption both in English and Arabic? People get frustrated by this. But to me, it's like, I actually disavow the use of the term the melting pot. I actually don't like it. Why? Because in a melting pot, when you're talking about like a soup, everything looks the same.
So I love this guy. This is amazing. He doesn't like melting pot. Okay, I do.
Yeah.
I'm a Jew.
Yeah.
And I'm from Israeli background, but I don't want only to speak Hebrew all the time and demand everyone else to let me speak Hebrew only. It's crazy. And I don't demand everyone to become Jewish with me. I love being American.
Right.
I love baseball and apple pie, and I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I love going to the games. I love the Christmas lights. I understand that is part of American culture, and thank you very much for it.
Right.
I love to embrace American law. I love American history. I'm grateful to capitalism. I'm grateful to the inventions and the culture of America, which is very unique. I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
In fact, that's my first identity.
Right.
Okay? Being Jewish is very important to me.
Yeah.
God, of course, is number one. But I really love being American, and I don't want to speak with an accent. I don't speak with an accent because I just love America. I want to assimilate in that way. Now, knowing another language is great. Knowing about my own culture and going to synagogue every week, that's great. That's part of the American tradition as well.
Yeah.
But this guy wants something else. He wants to have a place to practice his Islam, but not speak English, although he speaks English very well, as you can see. And he wants everyone to leave him alone. And ideally, just we'll have our little area, and you can have yours, which will eventually take over anyway. But for now, you can have yours, and I'll have mine.
Yeah.
Okay. That that is the game plan.
Or what he's saying is like, I want to be left alone in my little, either he says beachhead or foothold, and I'm going to continue my, little G.
It's the Palestinian playbook.
We've seen it so many times.
All right, let's continue on. He's got more to say.
We're not asking you to give up anything. It's as American. You are as American as anyone else, regardless of any of that. And I think that is what people fear.
All right, and I don't know what this guy's saying on that score. That's weird.
Yeah.
But he is trying to argue that he doesn't want to be American, and that he wants to celebrate first and foremost his Islamic faith and disregard American culture.
Right.
That's really what he wants. And he makes this analogy to the salad, where it's more like a salad, not a melting pot. He wants to be so don't forget though, the tomatoes in the salad bowl can kick out the lettuce,
right?
And that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
And then have different superiority among the different parts of the salad. But when you're blending, melting pot doesn't mean we want you all to look the same.
Right.
We all want you to be American. We want that your American history to flow in your bloodstream.
Yeah.
That's what we want. The culture, we want that to flow in the bloodstream. That doesn't mean that you can't enjoy your own culture as well, whether it's the food or the language or the holidays. We just want you to remember that you're American first.
Right.
Okay. Why is that so hard? And again, I say this as a Jew, somebody who was born in Israel.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to America. This is an awesome country. I think Israel is an awesome country. Like I always say, I belong to the two most awesome countries in the world.
Right.
But if I were, I don't know, born in Germany or born in Poland, I'd say, this country, America, is a hell of a lot better than even Germany or Poland, modern day Germany or Poland.
Yeah.
And certainly Azerbaijan or, Armenia, South Korea even. Those countries, they have their pluses, but of course America is better.
Yeah.
Of course. That's why people flock to this place, but they want their own little fiefdoms, and it's never good enough. This is what I opened up with at the same time. Which brings me to our theme.
Yeah.
Why can't everyone just be like America?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
I want everyone to be in the melting pot, not just people who come here and become American. I think everyone should just say, you know what? Those Americans, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We should just do what they're doing. And before you say, well, that's so chauvinist, that's so culturalist, elitist, whatever you want to call it. Okay. But that's like saying that a swimmer who has better technique in the water, who's learned how to make himself 3 seconds faster.
Yeah.
In the 50-yard freestyle. That's a lot in a 50-second over his competitors, the same age and all that stuff.
Right.
That, you don't want to do his technique because, you like your technique better.
Right.
It just feels better for you. Okay. But isn't the game to shave time and to do your best? I mean, why wouldn't you learn from that? Of course they would.
Right.
And by the way, that wouldn't matter because swimmers are the same everywhere in the world, and the techniques work the same no matter where you swim. The water is going to be the same,
right?
The swimsuits are going to be the same. The length of the pool is going to be the same. So the only thing different is your technique.
Yeah,
it doesn't care what language you speak, what culture you imbibe in, what foods you. Well, maybe it does care what foods you eat, but you get the idea. It doesn't know your nationality or anything like that. It doesn't care how you pray. It cares what your technique is.
Right.
So do you see what I'm saying about this? I said this, I used to joke around. When I was 10 years old, I used to think that, everyone should be like America, and then it would be a great world.
Right.
I mean, everyone would be productive, and we'd make massive amounts of new inventions, and the world would be at peace.
Yeah.
That's for sure. We would have no wars. If every country was a democracy or republic like America was, great. It would be done.
Oh, yeah.
Checks and balances, wonderful. They can, obviously, they have their own history and such, their own language, their own food, but the basic structure of government and the rule of law, the judiciary and everything else, just do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Why would you change that?
Right.
Why would you do anything different?
Yeah.
So that's what I thought as a 10-year-old. Okay? Pretty bright.
Yeah. Right
and
on
then,
it. Yeah.
then I was 15, and I remarked upon my thinking when I was 10, and I said, wow, that is so culturalist. That's so elitist, right?
They got you at 15.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I turned 20, and I thought, no, I was right when I was 10.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah.
and that's the way it should be. Look, just like the swimming technique, and forget about that. It could be basketball, it could be lacrosse, it could be soccer. You want to learn the best. You don't care what nationality your coach is.
No.
You often will get the fastest former runner from the Olympics to be your coach. Wouldn't that be the dream? Because they know what they're doing.
Right.
So you want to learn from their technique. You wouldn't say, well, I do things my way.
Yeah.
Okay, your way sucks.
Right.
You will not win.
Yeah.
And they seem to appreciate that because they flock to America
Right.
for the better life. So they can't really meaningfully say that that's culturally elitist, because if they really felt that way, they wouldn't come to this country at all.
Yeah.
It's so basic to me, and I really just think, just do it. Just be like America. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
No one's telling you can't have your food, your culture, your language. Okay? Do it all you want. You don't have to call it Congress. You don't have to call it the Senate. You don't have to make the buildings look the same. But you do have to have the same balance of powers,
Yeah.
the same respect for law, and then you might get somewhere.
Yeah.
Where am I wrong, people?
Right.
Anyone can, I mean, that is the answer.
Yeah.
Just do what America does.
Yeah.
You have the blueprint right there. And unlike the example of the technique, that will help whatever country you are. I guess it is exactly like that. Let's say Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic swimmer, obviously great technique. However, he's very tall.
Yeah.
And he has unusually proportioned arms, okay, which helps him swim better.
Right.
That's part of the beast, as it were.
Yeah.
Fine. Let's say you're not as tall as Michael Phelps, or have unusual length arms like he has. Fine. It doesn't matter. The technique is still what matters. You will improve your situation, unique to you, by 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe you won't have his time, but you'll have your time minus 3 seconds.
Exactly.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Why don't people do this?
Yeah.
Just adopt everything that we do, but somehow they think that is insensitive. I just want you to do it, and we do it in everything else in life.
Right.
Right. You don't teach, I don't know, calculus a different way.
Yeah.
You don't do anything differently in the sciences. Everyone agrees to that. Everyone talks about the metric system. Everyone agrees that we should have a unit of measure. I mean, it's different, of course, in America.
Right.
But whatever, it's good to have uniformity in many ways.
Yeah.
So we don't have a numbering system, for example. Everyone is base 10
Right.
in the world. Everywhere you go, base 10.
Yeah.
You might have different letters, different ways of expressing yourself, different phrases, but the number one is the number one everywhere.
Yeah.
And so on. Why is that so wrong to suggest that we should have exactly the same system of government like America has? We figured it out.
Yeah.
And everyone's coming here because we figured it out.
Right.
And everyone breathes a sigh of relief when they come in here. So maybe we did something right.
Right.
Maybe you guys are doing all sorts of crappy things and you're getting it all wrong.
Yeah.
I always find it very funny also when Europeans will talk to Americans, they'll say, what is it with your God and your guns?
Yeah.
They're fascinated with that.
Right.
And I always respond the same way. You think you're being funny, but maybe it's our God and our guns that helps make America what it is.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Because we believe in God, we believe that free speech is a holy thing. We believe your sanctity, your right to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is a holy thing.
Yeah.
You don't. You think free speech doesn't mean anything. It's something the government gives you.
Yeah.
But we think it's what God gives us. There's a big difference. Likewise with guns. That's our right. So you can laugh about it, but it's because of our right to have guns that America has become such a great country.
And specifically, our Second Amendment protects our First Amendment. No one or very few people are going to jail because of what they said on social media. So unlike Germany, unlike England. God is keeping us safe. Our guns are keeping our speech.
That's true. Well, I want to introduce to you a good friend of mine, a fantastic man who's heading up the Jewish News Syndicate, JNS. He's been at it for quite a while. He's been at it since, I believe, the early 2010s, I think 2011 even. And I'm interviewing him in a moment, and I really wish that you would welcome him and enjoy. He's got a lot to say, things about Israel. I'm going to be talking also later on about Saudi Arabia. In the meantime, we are lucky to have Alex Treiman, who is the CEO of Jewish News Syndicate, based in Israel, right? And English magazine, basically an online magazine, talking about all things of Jewish and Israeli interest. A lot of stories, otherwise, but there's definitely a focus right on Jewish and Israeli news stories. And I really wanted you on this podcast because, first of all, I'm a subscriber. I just thought it was so interesting, and I had to have you on. And you've been a very big player in Israeli politics. Jewish National Syndicate has really grown in size dramatically. When did you start, in 2011 or something?
We founded in 2011, and I started working for them as a reporter in 2013 and took over the organization in the end of 2017.
Because why not? That's great. What prompted you to want to take over?
Well, I saw that most of the media reporting on Israel, for certainly mainstream media, but even Jewish media, was not really telling the story of Israel, was representing what I felt was a minority viewpoint among Israeli voters and also among staunch supporters of Israel. Most of the media coming out of Israel in the Jewish world is becoming increasingly progressive, has committed itself to trying to overthrow the government that was democratically elected in Israel. And because they do that, they're reflexively opposing just about every policy. And even we saw that during the war, they're just reflexively opposing every policy that the Prime Minister and the IDF are carrying out because it doesn't fit with their ideological agenda.
Yeah, it's a different version of BDS, isn't it?
BB Derangement Syndrome. Yeah, you know a thing about that here in the United States.
We do. We got TDS, of course, and it's awful. It's. I think people are beginning to see it. Are Israelis seeing that in Israel, that these people who are so wildly against Bibi and are trying to incarcerate him, find him guilty of all sorts of terrible charges, are they seeing that these people are deranged in their own way, that there's no logic to it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that the one thing that's a key difference between Israel and the United States, and one of the reasons why I'm actually very encouraged about the future of the state of Israel, is because these voices that are carrying out this BB derangement, the deranged, are a shrinking minority and also become an older segment of the population, right? So in America, as you get older and older, people are more conservative, and as you get younger and younger, people tend to lean more progressive. Right. And in Israel, the ones that are leading the campaigns against Netanyahu and are protesting out in the streets, they're older. And as you get younger and younger, the population gets more and more conservative.
Well, that's interesting. That's really great. So, well, the more conservative, the better, as we say. Israel has a very interesting history, and people don't realize, I think, the final why of this. Israel used to be much more progressive / liberal, call it what you will. Between 1948 and 1977, it was all labor, meaning their version of the Democrat Party. And then in 1977, this guy, Menachem Begin, becomes prime minister, very conservative, a hero in the Israeli military.
And he was the head of the Likud party, which is now run by Benjamin Netanyahu.
Right. And between 1977, correct me if on the dates if I'm wrong, between 77 and 2006, 2005 maybe, it went back and forth between Likud and Labor, and then since 2006, it's been rock solid Likud, meaning that the Conservative Party is now the mainstay party in Israel. There's still and part of the reason I think we discussed about this before, and I've talked about it on this podcast before, is that there are so many more children raised and brought up by religious people. They have more babies, and surprise, surprise, they vote conservative.
It's not just religious; it's also even the more traditional. You have a lot that are secular, but they're still traditional. They still, they still. Maybe they'll watch TV and they'll drive, on Shabbat, but they'll still go to a Friday night service or make a Friday night meal for the family at home. Like they're more traditional, even if they're not really observant. And you see that the birth rates in these traditional to observant families are, like you said, much higher than those in secular left-wing families.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited that Israel is becoming more and more conservative over the years. But there still is that small group that is getting more and more vocal, although they are smaller. But they're trying to unify as much as they can to make life as miserable as possible.
Well, it's not only that they're vocal, because, as you correctly mentioned, they are the ones that founded the country, essentially, and ruled the country for many years. So even though the electorate is becoming more and more conservative, the left-wing hold over the major institutions in the country remains very strong. So when you talk about the intelligence services, when you talk about the upper echelons of the military, the heads of the education system, and specifically the universities, the labor unions, the banks, the medical system, and most importantly, perhaps the media and the judicial system and the legal system are all controlled by the left. So even though it is a minority in terms of the overriding population, they control all of the major institutions, and they make it very, very difficult for the right wing to govern. And as we saw, like in judicial reform protests in July, August of 2023, just a couple of months before October 7th, where these major protests about the Prime Minister's proposed judicial reforms, and all of these major institutions all colluded, threatening to shut down the country. So even if you're a minority, if you control the major institutions, and that's why we are engaged in a, I would call it like a civilizational battle for the soul of Israel. Yeah. And that's the same. You have the similar situation here in the United States. There's a civilizational battle for the soul of America taking place.
I mean, the Democrats would definitely love to have all the control that they could, but they do have so much more control over the media, like you said, over academia, even entertainment, and they're trying to get themselves into athletics as well, and banking for that matter too. So I guess it's very similar.
It's similar,
it's somewhat frightening.
But here in the United States, there's a few things that are important. Number one, you have much greater system of checks and balances between the different branches of government. You also have checks and balances between federal government and state and local governments. The whole system in America was set up on the basis of a citizen's God-given rights. Right. And the whole purpose of the government is to protect your rights. The purpose of the U.S. Army is to protect you in case somebody wants to come in, invade the country and usurp your rights. And then the different systems of branches of government and the differences between federal and state government are made to make sure that no one branch becomes too powerful. And in Israel, there's no constitution. There's no God-given rights. We have a lot of privileges in Israel, right. And privileges can mimic rights, but there's no sense that it's God-given. There's also a difference between
which is bizarre because we're talking about Israel here.
And a key difference between a privilege and a right is that a privilege can be suspended while a right cannot. And in Israel, the court, which is a self-selecting body, which is a left-wing and an activist court, which can override legislation, which can tell the Knesset that it needs to pass legislation, which can tell the executive branch it cannot do carry out its agenda. They are the most powerful branch of government.
Yeah. The fairness issue and everything else. Let's talk a little bit about the war, the Gaza war. That's on the minds of so many of our listeners. these days. So it always struck me as so odd how so many people within Israel are really fighting against Bibi. I think he's prosecuting the war very well. That's my impression. He's very stalwart about it. I think a lot of other leaders, Israeli or not, would have caved in and would have said, "Okay, well, enough is enough. We beat up Hamas enough. Let's get out." Only to have Hamas reconstitute itself in a very horrific way. So, and declare victory, God forbid. So, can you speak to that? Why is it that Bibi is so stalwart, so strong, and he can? I mean, the amount of attacks he's going through, I don't know that I could handle it. What's in his constitution that makes him so strong?
I think you're 100% on target. This is one of the strongest individuals in the entire world. And, even unlike the president of the United States, the amount of pressure that's on the prime minister of the state of Israel is immense, because the threats that Israel faces from this ring of Iranian-backed terror proxies is existential threats. If Israel will lose a war, Israel will cease to exist as a country. It's not like the United States that, first of all, doesn't have any enemies on its immediate borders, but even so, is a country of 350 million people, and if it lost the war, it wouldn't. The country might still exist. So Israel is facing existential threats. So with a tiny country, smaller than the size of the state of New Jersey, which is facing the threat of nuclear weapons from Iran. If Iran would level a nuclear weapon on Israel, there would not be an Israel. So the amount of pressure that's on Netanyahu to protect the continuity and the future of the Jewish people is immense. And then, like you said, we've got domestic issues here where there's a lot of domestic pressure. The institutions are working against him and his government. The prosecution investigated cases that they basically invented against the prime minister that have been going on now for 5 years, that are never going to end in a conviction, but they still even have required the prime minister to show up and testify in his own trial as much as twice a week for 5 hours at a clip, all throughout the war. Netanyahu is prosecuting the war at the same time on 7 fronts. There's a 7-front war against Hamas, Hezbollah, Syria, Iran, the Houthis in Judea and Samaria. We have a lot of fronts.
Greta Thunberg, don't forget.
And Greta Thunderpants. And then in addition to that, Netanyahu is fighting the diplomatic battles against the International Criminal Court, which leveled arrest warrants against him, against the International Court of Justice, which is trying Israel on charges of genocide, against the UN and all its agencies, against Western European governments that are threatening arms embargoes. He had to navigate the Biden administration at the beginning of the war, now pivoting to navigate the Trump administration. So he's dealing with all these challenges at the same time. And this is a man who wakes up every morning, like before anybody else wakes up. He works an entire day with complete focus, compartmentalizing one meeting to the next. And he's also the primary spokesperson for the state of Israel. And he goes to bed like late at night. I mean, I've seen him up close, and I could tell you the man is absolutely remarkable.
You met with him, interviewed with him, right?
Yeah, I've interviewed him. I've asked him questions as a member of the traveling press delegations. I've flown on the plane with the prime minister and been in the Oval Office with the prime minister and the president of the United States on more than one occasion. And, it's...
We've had to deal a lot with, of course, anti-Semitism throughout the world. And even from America, college campuses. From France, we know is a big deal. We know a lot of people are leaving France and many other countries because they want to do aliyah to Israel because they feel like their country has abandoned them. It's just too dangerous for their kids and otherwise. I understand that. And it's very painful to see that. Most of that has come from the left. In fact, a vast majority of it has come from the left. Now, however, we're seeing strange attacks from the right, people who claim themselves to be from the right at least. We've got Candace Owens, we've got Tucker Carlson, we've got this Nick Fuentes guy. How does this come about that they suddenly decide that they're anti-Israel and they're pro-Palestinian? What's going on with that? You would think that they would be pro-Western civilization and clearly to support Hamas or the Palestinians against Israel is a bizarre tack.
I mean, this really has been a big surprise. Even 2 years ago, nobody would have predicted that this would have advanced so quickly. And it seems like an avalanche. You just mentioned three, but there's also Steve Bannon and Alex Jones and many others that are catching on to this this very disturbing trend. And they claim to be America first. And what they don't understand is that if you go to the Middle East, there's only one country in the Middle East that feels like it is aligned with the values of the United States. That's the state of Israel. There's only one country that's a democracy. It's the state of Israel. There's only one country that provides economic benefits, technological benefits, intelligence to the United States. That's the state of Israel. Even people say, well, the United States is giving $3.8 billion a year to the state of Israel. Why are we doing that? Those people don't understand that 100% of the $3.8 billion are spent back in the United States, right, in American defense industries. And then Israel's taking that equipment, using it actually in battle, reporting back on how they use whether the equipment works properly. When Israel attacked Iran, using American F-35s and F-16s. So Israel figured out how to essentially jerry-rig the F-35s to carry more fuel so that they could fly further.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. That's awesome.
So now they take that information. They say, look what we did to your plane. We made it so now it can run missions to fly even further, and they give that information back. That's invaluable information that they pass back. And in terms of the technology, if you want to, how many multinational companies are running their R&D centers in Israel, and those are companies that are American companies that they're doing their R&D in Israel. So there's so much benefits, and most people don't understand it.
Well, I mean, look, I think that makes a lot of sense. And in our podcast last week, we talked about how so many of these people who are so anti-Israel, they should know the things that you just mentioned. I mean, you can get, like Queers for Palestine, for example. They should know that if they went to so-called Palestine or Gaza, Judea, Samaria, that they would be killed.
We should pay for their tickets.
But one of the things we also noted last week is that you never see these Queers for Palestine or transgender people going to Gaza and saying, hey, we're here to help against those terrible Israelis. What can we do? Of course, because they know that they would be killed.
I don't even know if they know.
No, they do know.
Yeah.
At least some of them do, and they should know it to be able. And it's easy because they can look at their iPhone. Everyone's got a smartphone. You have all the information in the world right there in the palm of your hand. They don't bother looking at it. I think part of the reason why they don't, in fact, the majority reason why, as I said last week, is that they don't want to know. They'd rather continue on with their bizarre behavior, because to support Israel is to support the Ten Commandments. To support Israel is to support Western civilization, which means to support rules. And they don't want that. They'd rather take the risk that they'd be killed than find themselves accountable to the Ten Commandments.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I actually want to go back to your question just before about why on the right all of a sudden we're starting to see this anti-Semitism.
Please.
And, I think that the Qataris in particular, who have ties to Tucker Carlson and, have been invading the American universities, they're the ones that were housing the leadership of Hamas. They were the ones that were sending cash payments month after month into Gaza to Hamas. And essentially they're an agent and an arm of Hamas. In fact, they're the ringleaders of Hamas. And they want Israel to be defeated. And so when they look at the U.S.-Israel relationship, and obviously the United States is Israel's most important ally, and they see that the bedrock of support in the United States for Israel is evangelical Christians, who are the ones who fear God. So what they're trying to do is to sow discord between Israel and the evangelical community and pick that community off from Israel, because if they do that, then Israel can't rely on its American ally, and that weakens Israel. So that's
interesting. So you got Tucker Carlson in particular carrying the cross, as it were, saying, follow me, and away from the Israelis and more toward the Palestinians. That somehow they're doing something Christian. in that process.
And Tucker Carlson just recently said that the people that he hates more than anyone are Christian Zionists.
Wow, that's breathtaking. At Charlie Kirk's funeral, I believe he started talking about how the Jews killed Jesus. And like it seems like such an inappropriate time and place to say that, but there it was. I think he saw a target-rich environment for him to espouse this nonsensical tripe. Could it also be that opportunists, and I see Candace Owens particularly as an opportunist, I think Steve Bannon is also, and now Tucker Carlson, they're all seeking to be relevant. They all are media grabbers, the media whores, as it were. They survive on clicks and money. So I would not be surprised. The clicks part of it, I'm sure about. I mean, they get a lot of clicks when they say something that's contrary to the conservative narrative and say it with such aplomb. With the money, though, why wouldn't Qatar, like you said, it's giving so much money to the universities, so much money to the media, so much money to advertising, one way or the other, and to the Palestinian protester movement. Why not give money to Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, such? It's not illegal.
They may be doing that.
I think they are doing that. I mean, money definitely talks. It's such an easy avenue for them. They're giving so many billions to the universities. Why not give a couple of million to somebody like Owens and such? I don't know that that's actually happening, but to me, I would be totally unsurprised if that was not happening.
I'm sure that these things are happening. Qataris are spending a ton of money on media in the United States, and obviously today it's no longer just network media, and it's no longer just cable news networks. Right. That now today Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, they can essentially be on their own. And I think in some ways YouTube and social media have kind of democratized news and influencers to the extent that they can't really be deplatformed, right? You would never have seen somebody like Nick Fuentes getting airtime on television, 10, 15 years ago. That never would have happened. But today, they can go direct to the audience, and if they can get people to click, and like you said, the way things work, it's clickbait. So the more outrageous things that you say, the more clicks you can attract, even by haters, right? If you ever remember that movie about Howard Stern that came out, and they showed the graph of the viewers, and they said that the viewers that liked what Howard Stern said, they listened for X amount of time, and the viewers that hated the things that Howard Stern said, they listened for even longer. So right. once you open up the platforms to allow Nick Fuentes and Tucker they can say whatever they want. When Tucker was on Fox, he had to toe a line. Now that he's no longer on Fox, he can spew any kind of anti-Semitic garbage that he wants, and you can't take him off.
He's getting more successful as a result of that. Tucker Carlson had a fantastic audience when he was with Fox. Maybe he was towing the line. Maybe he discovered a new line when he went on his own and wanted to be more relevant than ever. So maybe that's what's happening. But either way, it's very frightening. Tell me about JNS. By the way, it's jns.org. The articles are fantastic. They're very succinct. They're to the point. I have found them to be very reliable. When JNS says something, I know I can take it to the bank. So I subscribe. I'm a big fan of it. Tell me what you think makes JNS.org stand out from all the other media outlets.
Well, I think it's fact-based reporting. It's informed analysis. We'd rather get a story right than get it first. There's so many rumors that fly in real time, and you have to figure out, how to rely on figuring out what's real, what's not real. You have so much reporting, especially on Israel and the Middle East, that is based on anonymous senior sources in the United States and in Israel, and that's all agenda driven, and it proves itself to be wrong over and over and over again. And so we'll never run an anonymous source from a third party. Like, if I don't know that source myself, and I can't, obviously there's some times where a source needs to remain anonymous for security reasons or other, but we have have to know who that source is. If I can't verify personally that source, then what they said to another media outlet's never going to get into our publication. And so sometimes you don't get to the story first, or you might not have that supposed scoop. But over time, your news agency actually winds up being the one that was on the right side of history.
Yeah, and it's the analysis that I really like a lot. The editorials are fantastic, just unbelievably strong, and they take you point by point. So it's good for a thinking person's analysis and appreciation, but it's also good for the news. I just really learn new stuff. I mean, for example, I learned this terrible story. I think we talked about it recently about this woman. She's the adjunct general.
She's the advocate general of the Israeli military.
Advocate general, okay. And
she's the lawyer. She's the lawyer of the Israeli military.
And wanted to make the Israeli military look bad in a really horrific way. I don't want to get into the details of it, but she tried to she faked a video. Authorized its release for the purpose of making the Israeli military look bad, and for that matter, Israel look really bad. And then she tried to get rid of the evidence by throwing her cell phone into the ocean. Very bizarre. Why would she do such a thing? What's your analysis on that?
Well, the left wing, the last thing that they wanted was for Netanyahu to succeed and win the war. Okay.
Oh, I see. All right.
Okay. So what they were hoping was that the Biden administration would put immense pressure on Israel to stop the war. So when they released this footage, and it wasn't manufactured footage, but it was doctored footage, incomplete footage that was released illegally. It was traitorous what they did, actually. And this was footage of how IDF officers were treating prisoners that were invaded Israel on October 7th and committed brutal massacres, murdering and raping people in their homes and at a music festival. And footage that came during an interrogation that was released to the press to intentionally make the IDF look like it was conducting an immoral war, so that the Biden administration and others would demand that Israel stop the unjust, immoral war, because they don't want Netanyahu to be victorious in war, because if he claims a victory at the end, he's likely to get reelected. And for them on the left in Israel, they see Netanyahu, who is democratically elected over and over again by a public that wants him to be the prime minister, that sees him as a Churchillian leader in days of destiny. They think that Netanyahu and his coalition are a greater threat to Israel than Hamas and Hezbollah and a nuclear Iran.
Wow. I believe you, unfortunately, and I'm so glad JNS is out there telling the truth, really exposing these stories. This story, I know it's true, first of all, because JNS reported it. I don't see the story being showcased in pretty much anywhere else. I'm sure I could find it if I went on Google and plugged in the right words. But JNS is the one that's really presenting it correctly, and I'm so grateful to you for exposing this. JNS.org, check it out, subscribe to it, like them, do what you can to be part of them. Alex here also did a great job at the Republican Jewish Coalition event in Las Vegas recently. Thank you for being there. There was a huge new attention to JNS. You actually had a conference recently too.
We had our first policy conference in Jerusalem back in April. We had the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, 5 ministers, members of Knesset, 120 different speakers, including Mark Levin, Bruce Pearl, the head coach of Auburn basketball, just retired actually after being the AP Coach of the Year this past year. We had 750 people, and I think what made our conference unique was that we're actually laying out the mistaken policy which led us into this horrific period that started on October 7th, and laying out the policy prescriptions for a safer and a brighter future for Israel and the Jewish people.
It's no surprise to me that JNS is just doing wildly well. I think you're really reaching out to people who really crave the voice that you're laying out there. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, folks, this is Alex Treiman. Thank you so much for your work at jns.org. Check it out, and God bless. All right, well, that was amazing. I mean, wasn't he great?
Just an amazing person.
He's very thoughtful, I love his understated tone, and he's just he's really friendly, but he knows his stuff inside and out. That's the way to go. All right, Tess, we're speaking before the interview about Islam and the concerns we have about Islam in America.
Yeah.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has labeled the Muslim Brotherhood and CAIR, that's the Council for Internal Relations, something like
Arab
that.
Islam or something like that. No.
Something Islamic. Arab Islamic Relations, I think.
Yeah.
As foreign terrorist and transnational criminal organizations. He's issued a sweeping proclamation designated both of them as forced terrorist organizations under Texas law, citing FBI findings, terrorism financing cases, and the group's alleged ties to Hamas. Abbott's order triggers enhanced criminal penalties, land purchase restrictions, and expanded state authority to block or dismantle affiliated operations in Texas.
Yeah.
The proclamation represents the most aggressive state-level action ever taken against these organizations in the United States.
Good and bad. Every state should do it, and it should have been done 30 years ago. But yeah.
Well, we say bravo to that.
Yeah.
We need this on a national level.
Yeah.
This should have happened right after 9/11. Instead, President Bush invited them to the White House.
Not the right thing.
And then we wonder how we got here.
Yeah.
So not the right move. This is such a classic example of naivete, right? When you invite these people who really hate you into, in this case, the White House, but you open up to them and say, hey, let's try to understand each other. That's when they come in for the kill.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. We now know from October 7, Israelis in southern Israel were very embracing of Gazans who came into Israel every day to work as gardeners, babysitters sometimes, nannies, whatever, and plumbers. They would come in as day laborers and they would leave, and they became very friendly with them. They had lunches and dinners that went to each other's weddings and such, and then they turned on the Israelis and killed them.
Yeah.
They're actually spying on them the whole time.
Right.
They are mapping out everything. So, all this embracing and thinking, trying to understand each other will give a good impression of how Israelis are, how Jews are, or how Americans are for that matter. And then they'll love us and everything will be great.
Yeah.
This is appeasing a monster. You cannot do that. These people do not think like you and I.
Yeah.
It is just not the same thing.
And that's the problem, is they think because they're decent people, if they're decent to other people because they're decent, it'll happen. And they don't realize they're not dealing with that. They're dealing with someone different.
Spot on.
And it's hard to accept, because you don't want to be humble, you don't want to pretend, but because you're a decent person, no, you're not dealing with maids and gardeners, you're dealing with scouts who are doing a military scouting operation, as we saw.
God.
Which is heartbreaking.
My heart is breaking as we see it. But in a way, it's liberating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the hard work, I guess. Sometimes you just know you got to do hard work.
Yeah.
But at least that's the answer.
Right.
So, for example, let's say you have a bunch of bills to pay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a perfect analogy, but you have a bunch of bills to pay, and you think to yourself, well, maybe I don't know if I don't get myself to it. They won't bother collecting on my accounts.
Yeah.
But then you realize, they will. And you've got no choice but to pay them. So it's liberating in a sense. You roll up your sleeves, you make some time and you pay your bills.
Yeah.
It should be easier now with internet and all that, but still you get the idea. You just got to do it.
Right.
And likewise, sometimes you got to realize that the answer is not to coddle your Muslim neighbors and hope that they think well of you. It's not going to work. What will work is that you express great pride in your own faith, Christianity and Judaism in America for that matter, and say, look, you don't like it, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Okay, don't try to change me, and I won't try to change you.
Yeah.
But you ain't taking over this country. And we let you in to visit on a visitor's visa or whatever, and you start mocking our country, get the frig out.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the way it works. That's hard. It's easier to pretend everything is going to be okay.
Right.
But that's not the answer.
Yeah.
And even the president, the former president of the United States, George Bush, failed to understand that.
Yeah.
Okay? It's hard work. You don't want to do, and it also violates your sense of what you want to be. You want to think that if you're just nice, people will be nice back. It doesn't work that way with some people.
Right.
And you can see it in Islam, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that everyone is like that who is a Muslim in America. I am saying that there are far too many radical Muslims who do see it that way. And there are far too many moderate Muslims who don't do anything to push back, to say, I'm against this. I condemn this. I disavow this, as that schmuck said. I disavow, what do you say, the melting pot? I disavow that term.
America itself,
Yeah, that's right. Disavow. I don't know if he knows what that word means, but as if somehow you have to, it's like a friend that you're now no longer connecting with anymore. I disavow him.
Yeah.
But that's his whole idea. He really does disavow America, the whole ideal.
Yeah.
He wants to have Sharia law. He wants Americans to coddle to him and communicate with him only. To blend in with his culture. That's really what's going on.
He wants a hegemony.
Hegemony. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Department of Education, it looks like it's going to be dismantled.
Thank God.
Well, that was the game plan. Trump nominated this woman to head it up, but told her, look, your main mission is to dismantle this crazy Department of Education. And of course, the Democrats are all falling apart because, it means that you don't love education. You want to destroy children's education. It means that Trump doesn't care about educating our children.
Yeah.
Okay. This is so weird, though. It's like they can't imagine anything can ever get done unless there's a government department attached to it.
Yeah.
That takes care of it. I'm surprised they haven't come up with a Department of Breathing.
Yeah.
Right?
Because we would all stop breathing.
That's right.
No, could work. Because,
that's right. Yeah. Like so once they set up the Department of Breathing.
Yeah.
Right. And then someone would say, hey, look, I don't think we need this. Let's dismantle this. They would say, oh my God, you're against breathing. You want us to all die.
Yeah.
What a horrible man.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah.
That is very typical of the left. They cannot see that maybe it's wasteful. I don't think they understand that there is such a thing as wasteful government spending.
No. Yeah.
You really, when you actually deal with your next liberal friend, you can say, is there anything that the government is wasting?
Yeah.
Just ask that one question.
Yeah.
Because I have a bunch of examples that are wasting.
Yeah.
The money we spend on learning about transgender surgeries, and I think it was El Salvador or some other country like that, teaching transgenderism, this or that. It's all about sexuality. It's weird.
It's all perverted. Yeah. They're all.
And otherwise undermining the United States in other countries. So those are not only wasteful but also destructive.
Yeah.
So so I can give those examples, and I have many other examples too. Just you can see the government buildings are totally empty. Even before COVID, they were empty.
Yeah.
And people are doing nothing. You go to the United Nations, it's empty. I mean, talk about total waste.
Oh yeah.
So there's so many examples. But if you ask a liberal, give me an example of a wasteful government expenditure.
Right.
And they will look at you as if you're trying to trap them.
Yeah.
Like, no, do you understand the concept of waste? Is there such a thing? Can it be happening in our very own government?
Right.
Do you think that there should be accountability for this? We saw that because of the Doge thing, right? They were beginning to find all sorts of wasteful programs.
Beautiful.
And it really was beautiful. And people were upset that they were even trying to look for it.
Yeah.
That's the amazing thing. It's even worse than that. It's not that they couldn't understand the concept of waste, but the fact that somebody was actually pursuing waste and trying to identify it so that they could now get rid of that waste. That they push back on.
Right.
Fascinating.
Or it's the most interesting thing where they say that our side only cares about money. Not true. Most of us just care about God. And then All they want to do, every solution, every problem is throw money at it.
Yes.
Not their own money, somebody else's money, but throw money at it. It's, yeah.
Always. Okay, so you may have heard about these various senators and Congress people that are encouraging the military
Oh, God.
to disregard orders that they don't like.
That's
Okay.
not good.
All right, yeah, it's definitely not
It's-
good.
yeah.
Here you go. Take a listen.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
you must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Okay. Don't give up the ship. Don't quite know what she means by that.
Yeah.
But anyway, this whole idea is that you can reject an order that you think is illegal. Okay. How do you determine that? Is that just, do you decide? Or you imagine these people getting an order, then going to the law library and saying, oh, wait a minute, that's illegal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to follow this order.
Yeah.
But, so you're making everyone a judge and jury? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
And so, because now, in this time of everyone has their own truth, I've decided that's illegal. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't say whether it's immoral, by the way,
No.
because I don't think they know what morality is. That's
No.
another story. But they really don't know. But they can decide what's legal and what's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you do that, okay, they don't give an example because they can't really give an example. They want you to, they want these military soldiers to think that every order that they get is an order from Trump and therefore must be illegal. I refuse to follow this order.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's say that people listening to this, soldiers listening to this, say, yeah, I'm not going to follow these orders if I don't like it.
Yeah.
Let's say they're ordered to clean out the latrine.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think it's illegal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. And they throw down the mop and they go harumph with their hands on their hips. And then they get court-martialed. And you think that these senators and congressmen are going to be back there supporting him? But you told me to not follow this order. Yeah, but we told you if it's not legal.
Yeah.
And I think that's legal. Well, I didn't think it was legal. Well, sorry, schmuck.
Yeah.
They're going to leave these soldiers high and dry. That's my point.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another irresponsible, reckless decision on the part of your pals on the left side of the aisle.
Or it seems almost like they're planning something
Ooh.
that maybe the military and CIA have to investigate.
Talk to me more.
They're like,
Talk to me
no,
more.
don't, because they're like, you swear an oath to the Constitution. Well, the Second Amendment's in the Constitution, and all you guys do is fight constantly against it. Same with the Fourth Amendment, same with a lot of things. Like, what are you planning that you're like, oh no, you don't have to follow those orders? Like,
Yes.
it's very, it really is sick.
Well, but it's also encouraging a distance and conflict between the soldiers on the one hand and their commander-in-chief on the other.
Yeah.
To tell them that what's going on now is that the Constitution and the very bedrock of our republic is on illegal foundation in the first place. So everything they're being told to do is illegal. Therefore, don't follow it.
Right.
That would create a mutiny, an insurrection, to use your word. It's very hard to see it any other way.
Yeah.
So, look, I suppose a lefty would say, no, we're just saying don't follow illegal orders. But again, they don't give examples of this.
Yeah, what would be an illegal order?
Yeah, exactly.
Like going to Chicago and stopping children from dying who are black?
Right.
Is that illegal? Because you guys are fighting against it a lot.
Well, you think about an illegal order. you think about some, I don't know, commander, a major saying to his troops, go in and kill these people, even though they're not soldiers. I don't like them.
Yeah.
They're I don't know, they're black, and therefore we should kill them.
Yeah.
Or Muslim or Hispanic. They should. They're speaking Spanish. I don't like that. They should only speak English. Kill them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's an illegal order. Okay.
Yeah.
But they don't give that as an example. They just want you to think that maybe everything is illegal.
Yeah.
That will create unnecessary, crippling tension between the military and Trump together. And that's exactly what they're going for.
Yeah.
Because they actually prepare this, right? There's music in the background. They made sure to get senators and Congress people that actually had either military background or high up CIA sort of background in order to make this thing. And they obviously had editing, and they had a couple of takes, which I don't judge them for that. I expect that. But this was, formally produced. There was a lot of money behind this.
Yep.
And the question is, why did they do it in the first place?
Yeah.
To remind people that they can disobey an immoral order, even though they don't use the word immoral again. Yeah. Don't know. All right.
Yeah. Kind of interesting.
It's obvious what the purpose is. Okay. Trump is now withdrawing his support for Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's gone too far left, according to Trump, and maybe I think he's right.
Yeah.
I personally don't like her because she kind of pushed the Epstein file issue to suggest that somehow Trump was hiding something. That's not cool.
Yeah.
But more significantly for me, and I think for most Americans, she started saying that Israel is a terrible nation and Jews are doing space lasers and things like that. She's a crazy person.
She said that before she got elected. Yeah, space lasers. Yeah.
So
Jewish space lasers.
Yeah, the best kind of space. Let me tell you, if we're making space lasers, we're going to do it right, Dad. Yeah. Okay? And when you buy your space lasers, you're going to get it from Moshe.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not going to get it from Johnny.
The instructions, Yiddish. The only way you're going to do it.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, maybe Hebrew, but
Yes. You want your lawyers to be Jewish, your doctors to be Jewish, and you want your manufacturers of space lasers to be Jewish. Yeah. It's very simple.
Very simple.
All right. Democrats now are very excited to have Marjorie Taylor Greene on their side. Why? Because she hates Trump.
Yeah.
And it's not just on the Epstein files, but also on Israel, like I said.
Yeah.
Dana Bash of CNN is very excited. He's gushing about her. Likewise, Jamie Raskin from Maryland saying it would be great if she joined the Democrat Party. We welcome her with open arms. You still claim that she's crazy.
Yeah.
And we all kind of agreed that she's at least a little bit crazy. Now you're embracing her because she's against Trump. So they'll take crazy over Trump anytime.
And this is the same woman they took all of her committee assignments from. She had literally no committee assignments.
That's so true.
And they're like, oh, no, come with – it's got to be the reverse Fetterman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're trying to reverse Fetterman it.
I should have asked the following subject to Alex Treiman when we had our interview. I forgot.
Such a great interview.
Thank you. The Saudi prince is in the White House or was in the White House, and they talked a lot, and it looks like there might be a peace deal with Israel.
Nice.
Now, obviously, America is going to kind of sweeten the deal, make it more palatable for Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia really doesn't have any real beef with Israel. At the end of the day, they'd rather be on Israel's side. They just have to deal with their radical Muslims in Saudi Arabia. And so they have to pretend at least that they're getting something out of it. And what are they getting? Quite a bit. They're getting F-35 jets sales.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty substantial. They're buying it, so it's not as if they're getting freebies. But Israel's okay with it so long as Israel has normalized relations with Saudi Arabia. Then they don't have to worry about whatever they have.
Yeah.
That would be fine with Israel. Saudi Arabia also is going to be getting increased U.S. investment from a previous figure of 600. I'm sorry, Saudi Arabia will increase its investment in the United States from $600 billion to nearly $1 trillion.
Really? Okay, that's
just
almost double. Yeah.
Put that in perspective.
Yeah.
That's more than me and my wife make in a whole year combined.
Yeah. That's almost the price of a house in L.A.
Yes. Okay. Now, that's a great perspective.
Yeah.
Thank you. The U.S. has designated Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's not a bad thing at all. Multiple agreements have been signed covering defense cooperation, civil nuclear energy, critical minerals, artificial intelligence, and so on. Another example, Saudi Aramco announced preliminary U.S. deals worth more than $30 billion across sectors like LNG, financial services, advanced materials. Saudi entities are also leading large funding rounds in U.S. tech and AI startups. For example, $900 million into Luma AI as part of a deeper tech tie relationship.
Nice.
And also a human rights signal. Saudi Arabia has released a U.S. citizen who is 75 years old, who was jailed for tweets critical of the Saudi government.
Wow.
Anyway, that's good. It's all for the good. Look, I'd rather Saudi Arabia become a full-on democracy or republic, but whatever we can do to normalize relationships, even if it's going to be like our relationship with Jordan. The relationship with Jordan is fine. The relationship with Egypt so far is fine.
Yeah.
But and they're holding for decades at this point. So if we can have that with Saudi Arabia and have a little bit of trade, that'll be great. But here's the greatest thing about this. If we can get Saudi Arabia on the table in the Abraham Accords, that means the rest of the Middle East follows suit.
Yeah.
Maybe not Iran, but Syria likely, Lebanon even more likely, Yemen almost certainly, and so on down the line. And these are the major enemies of Israel.
Yeah.
And then, you have the other outliers who don't have relations, political relations with Israel, but will be happy to join. So like Algeria and Libya, things like that.
Yeah.
That would be nice. But then Iran will truly be isolated. And then maybe one great day, Iran will join the Abraham Accords.
And that would be the best thing ever.
Everyone wins. So we'll see. I think that the Muslim, what do you call it? The rule, the Muslim rule that they have, the imams and such, they all have to fall apart there in Iran. I'm not saying that it has to no longer be Muslim, but I think it'd be better if it was just like the pre-revolution Iran.
Yeah.
Then we really would have a fantastic Middle East. Everything would be great.
Yeah.
And if Pakistan joins in, wow, that'd be fantastic too.
Yeah.
So,
and I have to say that a lot of Iraq wasn't the best, Libya weren't the best, but having met so many Iranians from Iran, I think that would be the easiest way to topple the leadership, because you have people who are educated, are sophisticated, who are very culturally adept, that I think would be Pakistan. I'm not sure, but Iran, I have my faith in that country that's under the worst rule over Saudi Arabia or anything like that.
I agree.
I
just
hope
want
for
the
them.
belligerence to end. That's it.
And I think the people,
the more we have these treaties, the more economic relationships will arise, and that'll be healthy for everyone.
Completely.
So let's pray for this.
Yeah.
Really, if we get Saudi Arabia in the Abraham Accords, it's going to have a very positive ripple effect with many other countries.
Oh, I sure hope so.
See.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've heard this story, sadly, but the Nigeria story. What's going on in Nigeria is awful.
Yeah.
They are killing Christians right and left.
Yep.
It seems like, look, the elephant in the room is there's something about Islam that is not tolerant. Shall we say that? Can we say that?
A religion started by a legitimate warlord that no one would argue was a warlord is not. I don't get that. I'm not understanding.
You make him seem so one-dimensional. He's much more than that. He was also
a husband
and a pedophile. Don't forget the pedophile.
Oh yeah.
Okay, he was a warlord and a pedophile.
Yep.
And otherwise wanted to destroy everything in his sight. So he was really multifaceted.
He had a lot of a lot of parts to him. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
A Renaissance man, as it were.
Exactly.
Anyway, so yes, it's not a very tolerant religion. Okay, this is the impression that you are leaving on us Jews and Christians.
Right.
I'm sorry. That is, you should know this.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a surprise. I would hope that you would grimace every time you hear a story of Muslims doing horrific things to Christians or Jews or anybody that's not Muslim in Europe or Nigeria, as the case is here, and just think to yourself, oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah.
I would want you to grimace about that because that's my people, you should be saying to yourself, and I really don't like this impression that you're leaving. And here's the worst part of it, is that it's so prevalent. It's so violent. It happens so often. As I often say, not all Muslims are terrorists, but almost every terrorist is a Muslim.
Yep.
When you see that happen time and time again, it's hard to think that this is not a great religion.
Yeah.
And you can say, oh, it's been taken over, it's been hijacked. Okay, fine. Let's say, okay, this hijacked religion of yours is dangerous.
Right.
And what I really resent about it are all the quiet people, quiet Muslims who don't fight back and condemn it. You don't hear it. I have not heard an imam in America even saying what happened in Nigeria on behalf of Islam does not speak for me. This is not what Islam is about.
It is a curious silence.
Right?
Yes. Almost as if, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, it's one of two things. Either they support it, okay?
Yeah.
God forbid.
Yeah.
Or they're too terrified to say anything about it.
Yeah.
Neither is good.
No, it's for them personally.
Right.
Yeah.
When a Jew does something bad, and thankfully it's nothing close to the amount, but it's so famous. It happens so seldom that you remember every episode of it, and there's not that many.
Yeah.
There was a guy named Barak Cohen, I think he was in the 80s, and he went in, I think it was in Jerusalem or near Jerusalem, and he went into a mosque there and he killed a number of Muslims while they were praying.
Yeah.
And he did it out of anger. Who cares? It was wrong. And we all condemned him.
Right.
And you know what? We weren't afraid of condemning him.
Yeah.
I didn't think that someone was going to take me out, another Jew was going to kill me because I condemned this crazy idiot monster for killing innocent people.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the same for Muslims. Forget about an imam. Any outspoken Muslim on the news should say, this is terrible. And instead, what they say is, well, we condemn terrorism of all kinds.
Yeah, they generalize.
That's the best they can give.
Yeah.
And, oh, okay, thanks. I guess we're committing terror too. No, we're not.
No.
Idiots.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Riots in Mexico.
Really?
I don't know if you know about this. It's really been massive.
I've heard about the assassinations. There are a couple other leaders' assassinations.
They're angry, not because of hunger or other things like that. They have reason to be angry about that.
Yeah.
Higher taxes or lack of, I don't know, public services. Fine.
Yeah.
They're angry because the government is not taking action against the cartels. They're angry at the corruption culture. Okay. So you got to check this out because it's very funny. Not funny. What is funny is the title of the organization that produced it. It's called Mostly Peaceful Media. So this is definitely not a mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah.
Okay, check it out. Anyway, they seem like fun.
Oh, yeah. They seem mostly peaceful.
No, but these people are really angry, and they're specifically angry about the government doing nothing against the cartels. The cartels have taken over the country. At best, the government is just doing nothing about it, but at worst, they're actually in league with the cartels.
Yeah.
And it's a disease. You know, that you get corrupted by the money that the cartels offer you.
Yeah.
And I like that word corrupted because corrupted, invokes the idea of something invading your body.
Yeah.
Like a virus corrupts your body, right?
Yeah, it's a cancer.
It's a cancer, and it converts good cells into bad cells, and it's exactly the same thing. So
Yeah.
these cartels are corrupting the country, which in turn corrupts the government, which in turn corrupts the country, and everyone falls apart.
Yeah.
So we've got it creates a whole drug cartel culture, just like Hawaii is a tourism culture, right?
Yeah.
That's the essence of Hawaii. I mean, they have other things there, but if you took out the tourism from Hawaii, it would fall apart.
Right.
Maybe they'd find other things. I don't know. But right now, they would lose everything.
Yeah.
And you don't want your country to be a drug culture.
No.
A drug country. That's it. What are you famous for? Pineapples and bananas. And you for, what is it?
Warring cartels and factions.
Warring cartels.
Yeah.
Cocaine. No, we do meth. We do
fentanyl.
What's
yeah.
the fentanyl? There's
Yeah.
yeah. So that one day you'll have kids in 6th grade learning about geography and the main exports of this or that country, and maybe it'll all be legal. My report is on Mexico.
Yeah.
Its main export is radical socialism and fentanyl.
Yeah.
Thank you. And he sits down. And very good, Bobby. Very good. Okay, Jane, you want to go with? Mine is Venezuela. We deal in sex trade. And I don't, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, or they're not even going to learn about like the states of Mexico, like Chihuahua and Sonoma. They'll learn about like the cartel territories and stuff
that's
like
right,
that.
Yeah. Just like the Indians, this is the land of the Sioux Indians.
Yeah.
This is the Cherokee Indians.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, I want to follow up on one thing.
Yeah.
Which is last week we spoke about the 50-year mortgages.
Oh, yeah.
And I said it's a good thing. And the reason being that, look, first of all, you get a cheaper mortgage.
Yeah.
Secondly, people are not thinking about the fact that, you're going to have maybe an increase in the value of your home.
Right.
And I gave the example of look back on your parents when they bought their home 50 years ago.
Yeah. For like $2,000. Yeah.
Well, that made $100,000.
Yeah.
And you say, wow, what a deal. Well, Bobby, I'm sorry, but that was really expensive back then. And we couldn't afford it. But now we're paying, $150 a month. And that was the mortgage back then too, $150 a month, which was a lot. So, okay, 50-year mortgage, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Especially when it's $150 a month.
Right.
So you can only cry about this so much. That's why you're not hearing so much about this story anymore. It's all gone bye-bye.
Yeah.
But it also assumes that nothing ever changes in your life.
Yeah.
That you're going to have the same salary for the rest of your life. There won't even be any promotions. There won't be any increases in your salary.
Right.
But here's the thing. Your mortgage stays the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't even adjust for inflation. So you're making out like a bandit on this one.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I hope they have a 100-year mortgage.
Right.
A 200-year mortgage. Of course you're not obligated to stay in that house for 200 years.
Yeah.
Nobody stays in their house for even 30 years.
Right.
I bought houses and I have bought and sold them. I haven't stayed in any house for 30 years.
Right.
It's obscene. On the contrary, I used that house as an opportunity to refinance and pull out equity during the ride.
Right.
And I did well.
Yeah.
That's the American dream, baby.
Yeah.
And there's also an assumption that there won't be inflation.
Yeah. Yeah.
There will be inflation.
Yeah.
And a 50-year mortgage is a fantastic hedge against inflation.
That is true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's this terrible assumption that people will be stuck in an obligation for 50 years. That's not true.
Yeah.
You can get out any time.
Right.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Okay? Or refinance it if you want. It's also the assumption that the property won't increase in value like dramatically.
Yeah.
And we just talked about this. I worked for a real estate mogul. One of his first investments was in the late 50s.
Yeah.
And he bought his first apartment in Beverly Hills.
Right.
For $50,000.
Wow.
A major building. And he
Yeah.
pointed it to me as we were driving by once. And he said that they wanted too much. It was insane. $50,000 was an insane price.
Yeah.
But he did it. He said it shouldn't have been sold for anything more than $45,000. Do you think he's missing that $5,000 now?
Yeah.
He's a billionaire now.
Yeah.
Because that's all he did is bought one after the other, kept on refinancing. He knew how to play the game.
Right.
It's not a hard game to play.
Yeah.
But these knee-jerk reactions, oh my gosh, people will be locked in. Who says you'll be locked in?
Yeah.
Like they try to describe it like you're an indentured servant.
Yeah.
What? Who do you know that stays in their house for even 30 years?
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they did, they're making out like bandits.
Right.
No one. This is a free freaking country.
Yeah.
You're allowed to sell your property.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I think we should leave and finish the podcast on a very important and somber moment.
Yeah.
And that is about Kamala Harris and how brilliant she is.
She's the wisest
Brilliant.
of the wise.
And she'll be the first to admit how brilliant she is.
She's magical
Yes.
almost. Yeah.
And here she is talking about her campaign against Trump and how she was playing 3D chess against him. That's how bright she was. And all these commentators with her are nodding their heads like, yeah, but you lost badly.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't play it so well. So anyway, check this out. It's just a lot of fun.
I was aware of my opponent's strategy, and I wasn't about to fall prey or fall into those traps. And part of his strategy and those around him was to try and take me off our game and message. And I wasn't about to be distracted by those flames that he was trying to throw to get me away from my highest priority, which was talking to people about the economy and their well-being in terms of their financial well-being. And so I understood the game that was being played, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to get played. And
chess, not checkers. Got it. Chess, not checkers.
Yeah, three-dimensional chess. I'm telling you, you know.
Okay.
That's just sad.
It really is sad. She lost, catastrophically.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fantastic the way she lost.
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy about it. Of course, so were you. But it was a catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
Losing every single battleground state by a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't like, there was no fingernail biting that night at all.
No.
And she dares to say that she was playing 3-dimensional chess with him.
Yeah.
Wants you to think that. Okay. And she wasn't going to fall prey to his games and tactics. No. Never mind, saying what the tactics were. I mean, it's, and she said, and she wasn't going to be distracted either. That was my favorite. These little planes that he was throwing. Really? Like, you get this image of planes. Was she like King Kong on the top of, the Empire State Building trying to shoo away the planes? And
yeah.
Because I don't know if that's a good image there.
No,
lady.
she doesn't want to go for that one. Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
this is an example. The reason why I played it, because it's fun to play it. I mean, I'm so happy that she lost so fantastically, like I said. But it's the self-delusion that's going on here. You're seeing a woman that really thinks that she's significant, that she's relevant, that people were impressed with her.
Yeah.
And that she might even run again in 28 or 32 for who knows.
Yeah.
That she is a force out there. Lady, you're done.
Yeah.
You're a joke. You have nothing to offer. And you continue to show that you have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
Other than that horrible cackle.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And we always joke. We'll miss the cackle.
Yeah. We'll always have the cackle. Yeah.
But it's this thing that just keeps on lingering all the time, the cackle. Because the cackle has... I'm not just making fun of her and her laugh. It's because the cackle represents how she doesn't have any substance at all.
Yeah.
People who laugh at their own jokes generally are insecure about their jokes. And this is what she does.
Yeah.
Okay. She doesn't know what she really wants to say. She's constantly reaching for something meaningful to say because she doesn't believe in God. I don't think for a second she believes in God. I could be wrong.
No.
But whatever God she believes in, it's certainly not the same God.
Yeah.
That you and I do.
No. Yeah.
It's emblematic of the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Reaching for a message all the time, reaching for something meaningful, and they can't quite seem to grab it. And that's why they fall from this rock climbing wall. That's why.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they'll ever get to the peak at this point. This country is a conservative country, and it's becoming ever more so. Gen Z, we now know, is conservative and religious, and it's not just because they want to resist their parents. It's because their parents are themselves religious.
Yeah.
And they are one of many young kids. And the demographics are simply changing, and that's a great blessing for America, for all of us. All right, folks. With that, we'll say goodbye. This is Barak Lurie signing off saying, God bless, be strong, and we'll talk with you next week.